And you're on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very first ever virtual Acoustic Roots. My name's Chris Davies, and I am coming to you live from here in the Acoustic Roots broom cupboard. We have got a cavalcade of fantastic performers, all chomping at the bit in a recorded sort of way to entertain you. We've got a brilliant performance from the Stompies, our Acoustic Roots house band. We've got a whole load of
I'm hearing double
regular
sound.
and most popular performers, and we've also got some new people, some newbies who've never performed Acoustic Roots before, and they will be joining us as well. Here's a little sneak peek at what's to come.
Hello, Helen.
Hello, Steve.
We are the Fragile Hearts.
Hi, I'm Anna Jobes.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
I'm not a former member of Iron Maiden.
Do I blame me or am I set free?
And I am the resident storyteller.
Warts and all.
Warts and all.
That's better. By the time it's halfway through the trailer when it settles in.
Well, that looks good, doesn't it? I think you'll agree. So here's what's going to happen. We've got about half an hour's worth of material, first of all, to take us to around about 9 o'clock. Then we're going to have a break for 10 minutes, which to give you a chance to either go and listen to Her Majesty and sing on your doorstep, or maybe go and get yourself another drink, or do whatever you can do within 10 minutes. And then we'll be back at 9:10 for another half hour or so of great entertainment. And we'll finish at around about 9:45. Now, one other thing I need to say to you is that this is totally free. There's no charge for enjoying all of this great entertainment. But if you did want to make a donation, we are collecting money for two great charities. That's NHS Charities Together and also Reddish Night Stop, who work with homeless people in our area. So both of those great charities, and if you would like to donate, don't worry, I'm not going to go all Bob Geldof on Live Aid and start banging on the table. But if you would like to donate, then there is a link, hopefully below me, some PayPal link in the box below me that you can use. All right, I think it's about time for me to stop talking and to introduce our first performer, which is a bit of a surprise. Ta-da! That wasn't a surprise. The surprise is that it's Ollie Jobes, who we forgot. How could we forget to put Ollie on our mailing list information? So sorry about that, Ollie. Hope you'll forgive us. I'm sure he will. He's a lovely chap, as well as being a brilliant singer and songwriter and guitarist. Both with his band, The Lost Notes, who, if you've never heard of, you should really check them out. And also solo, which is how he's going to be performing for us now. So here we go with Ollie Jobes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Really honoured to be asked to play a couple of songs for you, Elf Church Acoustic Roots. I hope you're all safe and well. This first song is Martin Simpson's version of Roving Gambler. I remember the first time I heard this thinking I'll just never ever be able to play that. And I was right, but it's a lot of fun to play, so I'll have a go. Warts and all, and I hope you really enjoy it. Thank you.
Gambler and I've gambled all around. Whenever I see a deck of cards, when I lay my money down, boy, now I lay my money down. And I've gambled down in Georgia, gambled down in Maine, and I'm going on down stuck in a damn milker. And the chick was out of sight, for she wore the damn milker, boys. For she wore the damn milker. She wore the hat on the side of her head like a high bone before gold. Her next train came down the line, well, I bid the girl a Jew, boys. I bid the girl a She took me to a parlour where she cooled me with a fan. She whispered low in her mama's ear, I love the gambling man. I love the gambling man. She said, daughter to his daughter, can you treat me so? Leave your own poor mother, and with the gambling go. With the gambling go. But I wouldn't know a man on farmer, he's always in the rain. Rather marry a gambling man with his great watch and chain and mouth. Drinking, watching, chain, and I wouldn't marry no miller. He's always in the dirt. Rather marry the gambling man with his fancy silky shirt, his lovely silky shirt. So she took me to her boudoir, did all that she could do. The very next train came round the line, when I bid the gal a Jew, I bid the gal a Jew. Yes, I did.
Ollie Jobs there, fantastic. And there's plenty more where that came from. Now, one thing I need to tell you is, as I said, as you probably realise, this is completely live. So if something goes wrong, rest assured that we shall be absolutely working away like hamsters in the wheel to sort it out. So if your screen goes blank or something, the first thing to do is to refresh the page, or if the screen freezes, refresh the page, and hopefully that clears any blockage. If that doesn't work, that might mean the problem's at our end, which means that we will be beavering away to sort it out. Now, let's have some more music with Andy Fincham, who is a very popular regular at Acoustic Roots. For anyone who's listening who comes to our Acoustic Roots in our church, you'll know Andy. If you don't, or if you've never been before, then first of all, welcome. And secondly, you're about to see Andy and see that he is very much a performer who likes a bit of audience participation. And just because this is in the virtual realm, that's not going to stop him. So there are opportunities for you both to sing along and do some actions at home during this performance. And we've even got a helper in the form of Hazel Watkis to show you what to do. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. Here is Andy Fincham.
Right. This is going to be interesting. This is a song with a chorus. And normally, I'll be relying on people joining in. So I'm just going to pretend that everyone's joining in. Normally, I'll rely on people yelling abuse as well.
Could you get on with this?
So I'm just going to pretend I'm being heckled.
I'm getting bored now.
And everyone's giving me a really, really hard time. This is a song with a chorus, so please join in. And this is the chorus. And the raging seas did roar, and the howling winds did blow, and we poor sailor lads were up aloft, with the landlubbers lying down below, with the landlubbers lying down below. Of course, as you will know, the chorus also has actions. And in true tradition, I usually get them wrong, but these are the actions. So if you want to join in with the actions, feel free. And the raging seas did roar, and the howling winds did blow, and we poor sailor lads were up aloft, with the landlubbers lying down below, with the landlubbers lying down below. One Friday morn as we set sail, our ship not far from the land, when a fair pretty maiden we chanced to espy, with a comb and a glass all in her hand, with a comb and a glass all in her hand. Have a go. And the raging seas did roar, and the howling winds did blow, and we poor sailor lads were up aloft, with the landlubbers lying down below, with the landlubbers lying down below. Now something tells me that we were doing very well for waves, and we had a fair amount of wind. I don't think there were many sailors. So let's have a bit more effort on the sailors, if you will. I'm not doing this on my own. And up and spoke the captain of our ship, and a fine-looking man was he. He says, I've a wife tonight in fair Bristol, but tomorrow a widow she will be, and tomorrow a widow she will be. And the raging seas did roar, and the howling winds did blow, and we poor sailor lads were up aloft, with the landlubbers lying down below, with the landlubbers lying down below. And up and spoke the little cabin boy, and a pretty little boy was he. He says, I'm far more aggrieved for me mama and me pa than you for your widow could be, than you for your widow could be. And the raging seas did roar, and the howling winds did blow, and we poor sailor lads were up aloft, with the landlubbers lying down below, with the landlubbers lying down below. And 3 times round went our gallant ship, and 3 times around went she, and 3 times around went our gallant ship, and she sank to the bottom of the sea, she sank to the bottom of the sea. And the raging seas did roar, and the howling winds did blow, and we poor sailor lads were up aloft, with the landlubbers lying down below, with the landlubbers lying down below. Once more the raging seas did roar, and the howling winds did blow, and we poor sailor lads were up aloft, with the landlubbers lying down below, with the landlubbers lying down below. Oh, very well sung, I think, very well sung.
That was very average.
There we are, Andy Fincham. I hope you were all singing along and doing the actions. I know I was. And thank you also for your comments that I think you've all sort of, or many of you have found the comment box. So yes, please do comment as we go along. We'd like to hear what you're thinking of things, where you are, what you're up to, all that sort of stuff. So please feel free to comment. It's good to hear from the likes of Joe Beswick, who's in here, Hilary Moses. Hopefully it's working for you now. Hilary, Mike Seal, Paul Johnston, Samantha Cohen, lots of people joining in the comments box. So hello to all of you, and to Jo Rowe, who is on later. She's there in the comments box. Yeah, everybody, please feel free to join in, take part, and tell us what you're thinking of things. Now, where are we up to? Oh yes, back to the Jobs household. It's always great, I think, at Acoustic Roots to see some young talent coming through in amongst us old fogies. And the virtual Acoustic Roots is no different. Now we're going to head back to, as I said, to the Jobs household to hear from Anna Jobs. So here.
Call me back when you get this, or when you got a minute. We really need to talk. No way, you know what? Maybe just forget it. 'Cause by the time you get this, your number might be blocked. Stay and blah blah blah. You just want what you can't have. No wait, I'll call the cops. If you don't stop, I'll call you dead. And I hate to do this to you on your birthday. Happy birthday, by the way. It's not you, it's me, and all that other stuff. You know that stuff, don't you, babe? I'm not your party favor. Look, now I know we could have done it better, but you can change the weather when the weather's come and gone. X don't make sense if you're reading backwards. You'll single out the wrong words, like you miss your romance songs. You hear stay and blah blah blah. You just want what you can't have. No wait, I'll call the cops. If you don't stop, I'll call you dad. And I hate to do this to you on your birthday. Happy birthday, by the way. It's not you, it's me, and all that other stuff. You know that stuff, don't you, babe? I'm not your party favor. Thank you. Stay safe, stay at home. Yeah, thank you.
Anna Jobs, fabulous. Thank you, Anna, for that. Now, Dave Howard, who is our technical guru and maestro, who is actually making this whole thing work, would like me to say a big hello to Mike Seal and to Sam Cohen. So here I am, pretend I'm Dave. Hi, Mike and Sam. And also hi to everybody who's watching us on YouTube. Yes, please, as well as Facebook, we're also live on YouTube. And please comment away both on Facebook and YouTube and let us know what you're thinking, where you are, and what you're up to. Now, oh yes, one quick reminder that, and if I can get my fingers in the right position, I think that's roughly it. Yeah, roughly. There's a donation link here. If you would like to donate any money to our two causes, which is NHS Charities Together and Redditch Night Stop, then there's a link there for you to do so. Okay, so let's have some more music. Now, one of the great things I think in this kind of virtual world we're living in at the moment, when people are recording things at home, is that you get to see inside people's houses. I mean, obviously I'm in the broom cupboard, so you can't see too much. But in this next video, Mike Crook has taken this, perhaps one of the logical conclusions that you might take it to, and decided to record in one of the smallest rooms in the house. So if you've ever wondered what the acoustics are like in a bathroom, you're about to find out. Here's Mike Crook.
You make me live. Angel candles give. So lost and blind I stumble. So scared to live I crawl. And you love your canvas. I love you. I love you. Don't you know? Shine like the first storm. Fly. Where the free belong. So lost and blind I stumble. So scared to live I crawl. Strength you love your canvas. I love you. I love you. Don't you know?
Thank you for that, Mike Crook and his bathroom. Now we're going to, in a minute, we're going to have a quick break for the Queen and what have you. But first, we're going to squeeze in a new performer for us, a brilliant young singer-songwriter by the name of Lucy Shaw. So we're going to cut straight to Lucy. Here she is now.
Hello everyone, I'm Lucy. I was meant to be performing at Alf Church Acoustic Roots, but unfortunately we can't do it at the moment. So that's a real shame, but I'm hoping to be back there really soon. So for now I'm going to play a couple of songs for you. The first one is quite a recent one that I've written, hasn't actually got a name yet. So if you can think of any, let me know. It's just about being spontaneous, going travelling, loving life. So I hope you like it. He said, I have never seen a smile like yours. She said, I have never been looked at this way before. forget the passports, and I won't forget the laughs. You said Zimbabwe is waiting time for zebras and giraffes. Then who knows where we'll be? But every day's an adventure and you're with me. She said I'd like to climb a mountain and maybe learn to ski. I know you'll have your camera ready to get an insta of me falling down. Falling down. And on the days that I feel dark, on the days that I feel blue, I thank my lucky stars that I found you. You said Trinidad and Tobago, we've got Montenegro too. The Northern Lights in Iceland, the greens and reds and blues of this world. It's as beautiful as you. She said, oh, 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 guess I should say thank you. You said I never want to board a plane without your ticket in my hand. I never want to walk along the beach and not see your footprints in the sand. You said I have never seen a smile like yours. She said I have never known a love like this before.
Brilliant, lovely. Thank you for that, Lucy. Lucy Shaw there, and hopefully we'll be able to see her in the flesh at an Acoustic Roots before too long. Now it's 9 o'clock, so if you would like to go and listen to Her Majesty, now's the time. You better skedaddle. She's probably started already. So we're going to have about a 10-minute break from the music. So you can either go watch Her Majesty, and I think there's some singing on the doorstep if you want to have a go at We'll Meet Again. Or you could go and top up your drinks if that doesn't float your boat, or use the facilities, or do what have you, boil an egg maybe. So we're going to let you go off and do that. But if you would rather stay where you are on Facebook or YouTube and stay with us, I should have said please come back, shouldn't I, to the people who've just gone. Damn, missed a trick there, never mind. Hopefully they will come back. But if you're still there and haven't gone, then you can stay with us. This is going to be a little bit like the bit, if anyone's a cricket fan, who ever listened to the cricket on the radio, what they used to do is they would kind of have to go at the shipping forecast if you were on long wave, and they go off the shipping forecast. But if you were listening on digital radio, they carry on, so you get to listen to Geoffrey Boycott or somebody wibbling on. So now here with me, you have the Acoustic Roots equivalent of Geoffrey Boycott wibbling on Test Match Special. That means nothing to some of you. I do apologise. Probably need to check my cultural references. Basically, I am going to attempt to entertain you, if you are still there, for a few minutes whilst all of the VE Day stuff is going on. And then all those VE Day people will come back, or the people who've gone to get a drink, they'll come back. And we'll be off with some great music. We've got some brilliant stuff to come. A fantastic performance from the Stompies, a very special performance of one of their recent songs. And we've got some new performers. Fragile Hearts will be coming up straight after the break. And Steve Harris, who's not the Iron Maiden Steve Harris, it's a different Steve Harris. I think I might have pinched his joke there. Sorry, Steve. We've also got Joe Rowe, who anyone who's been to the Acoustic Roots will maybe have seen before, and Paul Chamberlain, who people will also have seen at Acoustic Roots, and me. If you haven't had enough of me by the time it comes to it, I'm going to do a bit of storytelling, which I often do at Acoustic Roots, to give a little bit of a break from the entertainment, if you like. So that will be coming up later as well. along with all that great music. I really hope you've enjoyed what's been happening so far. Thank you for all the comments. I think Mike's bathroom is coming in for quite a lot of compliments, and in particular the sound. So thank you for that, and also thank you for the comments around to Dave Howard, who is running all of this, and who I can see in my. It's not a monitor. I'm going to pretend it's a monitor as if we've got some special equipment. Who's actually run out of beer? He's just indicating to me. So everyone's saying, well done, Dave. And I think you're allowed. That means you are allowed to have an additional beer. But not too many, because we've got to try to get to the end of this intact. So yes, well done, Dave. And also some comments coming in. Well done, Hazel, for those brilliant actions on Andy Fincham's song. I know I was performing away, and I thought that was a brilliant opportunity for us all to have a bit of collective entertainment. People watching on YouTube, there's Jude Yender on YouTube. Hello, Jude. You can hear me, can't you? Yes, I'm getting confused. And also good to welcome run through a few people. Gordon Parsons here, Alison Ban, Chris Maddox. Is the bar open? Well, sort of, yes. If you've got some beer in your house, Chris, it is open. Oh, Dave has returned. Anyone who's wondering about the status of Technical Guru Dave, he has now got a beer, so we can all breathe a sigh of relief there. So Carl Farrell, Carl, who is a great supporter of Acoustic Roots at our regular home at the Avchurch Sports and Social Club. Carl is with us. Welcome, Carl, and hopefully before too many more months have passed, we'll be able to join you back at the social club for live Acoustic Roots. So yes, welcome along, Carl. Welcome, Joanne Gill, Nicole Perrow-Hughes. Yeah, welcome, Nicole. Many people will know Nicole as a great singer, songwriter, and performer at Acoustic Roots. You're going to have to record something for the next one of these that we do, Nicole, if we do another one. Dave's nodding very vigorously as I say that. So I think we should definitely have a Nicole performance at our next virtual Acoustic Roots. Hi to Annette English and Paul Johnston, who are regulars at Acoustic Roots. And hello to all the Stompist people who are saying hi. Fiona Holmes and Fiona's asking me about naked yodeling for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's another Chris she's talking to. I don't know. But hello, Fiona. You'll be able to see Fiona later as part of the Stompies. I think I might have mentioned a couple of times that they've got a really good video that's worth waiting around for. Not waiting around for, because you'll have lots of stuff to entertain you, but sticking with us to the end for, I think is what I mean. So welcome everyone, and we have got we've only got 2 or 3 minutes left before the VE Day people hopefully return to us, and as I said, we've got lots more great music to come. Now, quick reminder that this is free, but of course, if we were in the real Acoustic Roots at the club, we would charge people to come in. So if you would like to translate your sort of entry fee into a charitable donation, then you are more than welcome to do so. And hopefully you can see the PayPal link to do that on the screen. And whatever you like, whatever you can afford, or you'd like to donate to those two great causes, NHS Charities Together and Redditch Night Stop, would be really welcomed, and we know it'll be going to a good place. Okay, so how are we doing? Yes, we're getting there, I think. So my story later on, just to give you a little heads up, because I know people will be looking forward, hopefully, maybe, to the story I've got to tell is an African story. And it's interesting because, like a lot of stories, it's a folk tale and it's an old story. And it must have had a particular meaning for the people when it was first told. And stories come in and out of sort of relevance. And right now, I think this story that I'm going to tell later on has a particular relevance to what's going on in our lives and our lives in general and what's going on in the world. So that's a kind of a little sort of sneak preview of what's coming up. I will be telling the story live. Yeah, anything can happen when I do that. That won't be a recording. I shall be attempting to get through it without too many mistakes, or at least covering up the mistakes. And that's coming up a bit later on after some of the other great performers that we've got coming up. Okay, I think probably we are ticking on towards 9:10. And we're welcoming back the people who've been to listen to the Queen. I don't know what she said. Obviously, I'll catch up later. I'm sure it was great. And I know we're all thinking of the people who fought in the war and the sacrifices that were made all those years ago that we're commemorating today on VE Day. Yeah, and I don't know if anyone was going to have a thing on their doorstep, but if you did, good on you. But we're going to carry on now, and hopefully you've come back with the second half of our show. We've got another 35 to 40 minutes worth of material to entertain you, so it's going to take us to around about 10 to 10, something like that. So before we do that, let's have a little flashback to what we've had so far and a look forward to what we've got coming up.
Hello everyone, I'm Lucy.
So my name's Jo.
Welcome to my workshop.
Hi there, everyone. Hello, Helen.
Hello Steve.
We are the Fragile Hearts.
Hi, I'm Anna Jobes.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
I'm not a former member of Iron Maiden.
Do I blame me or am I set free?
And I am the resident storyteller.
Warts and all.
Warts and all.
Yeah, lots of good stuff still to come, as I am sure you can see. So next up then is the Fragile Hearts, who are another new act to us at Acoustic Roots, and unfortunately haven't been able to join us in the flesh as yet, but will be joining us right now with a great song that I'm sure you're going to enjoy to get us off to a great start in the second half. So here they are, the Fragile Hearts.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve.
And I'm Helena.
Hello, Helen.
Hello, Steve.
We are the Fragile Hearts, and we're delighted to be part of this virtual Acoustic Roots. This is our latest song. It's called...
I have a problem. The Fragile Hearts, maybe they're a bit too fragile, not quite sure. But what I can tell you is that we are doing the hamster in the wheel thing at the moment to try and get it working. Joy of joys, what this means is that you get to listen to me a bit longer. We might, I think, be getting there. I think we're on.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve.
And I'm Helena.
Hello, Helen.
Hello, Steve.
We are the Fragile Hearts, and we're delighted to be part of this virtual.
This is what happens with a live performance, a live show. I think we're struggling a little bit, so we'll have a
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve.
And I'm Helena.
Hello, Helen.
Hello, Steve.
We are the Fragile
Okay,
Hearts.
so apologies. So Fragile Hearts, don't worry, we will come back to you later on. I do apologise for that little slip up, but that just shows you that we are live. And also that I'm not very good at reading sign language, but never mind. But hopefully now we can go to Paul Chamberlain, who will be familiar to many people who've come to Acoustic Roots, and who really is well, he set up the original Acoustic Roots session 10 years or so ago now, and is a leading light in the Stompies, our house band, and he regularly opens our Acoustic Roots shows. So now, hopefully, fingers crossed, here he is opening the second half, Paul Chamberlain.
I don't think about your back that goes red in the sun. Don't think about your mouth that don't say what you've done. Don't think about your toes that kick down my front door. 'Cause everything is nothing, I don't think about you anymore. I don't think about your arms that danced in the rain. Don't think about your eyes that never show pain. Don't think about how you even score. 'Cause everything is nothing, I don't think about you anymore. You cook your meat red, but you eat people raw. 'Cause everything is nothing, you leave the tap running. If I hang on to one thing, I don't think about you anymore. I don't think about your legs when you're all I've got left. Don't think about you falling off that lover's park bench. Don't think about your fingers that cut to the core. 'Cause everything is nothing, I don't think about you anymore. Even sea salt won't dry up the sore. 'Cause everything is nothing, just leave the car running. If I hang on to one thing, there's no savior coming. I don't think about you. I don't think about you anymore.
Paul Chamberlain there. Hopefully he was reasonably in sync for you. I think we might be having still one or two slight gremlins in the works. He is normally in sync in real life. So if he wasn't quite in sync, then that's probably our fault, not his. But I hope you enjoyed that performance anyway, which I think was a love in the time of coronavirus sort of story. One of Paul's new ones, which he's performed there for the first time for you. Now, who's next? Yes, one of our Acoustic Roots favourites, a great songwriter, great performer with one of his great songs. And that's Anthony Cowman. And he's now here, hopefully queued up to entertain you next. So here's Anthony Cowman.
Hi there, everyone. I hope you're all surviving the lockdown. I'm going to do a couple of songs for you. I was going to write, or I thought about writing keep all connected. A time to think and get reflective on their own, just how lucky you've been. They spent there just sitting with Penetrex and splatting, a choice of chairs and all are quite comfy. They put on weight, lost no hair, are they sure that it's cancer?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, have you spotted the deliberate mistake? This is a little test just to make sure you're all still paying attention. I think, yes, Anthony's sound was, well, if Paul's sound was not quite in tune, Anthony was on another planet. There may be another time zone, who knows? But we think we've got him synced up now. So with fingers crossed, we're going to start that again. So here to entertain you is Anthony Cowman.
Hello. So my name's Jo.
Hi there everyone. I hope you're all surviving the lockdown. I'm going to do a couple of songs for you. I was going to write, or I thought about writing something new, but I never quite got round to it. Something relevant or topical. But then when you think about it, the way this virus has affected everyone, every aspect of life has been affected, really, hasn't it? So if you write about anything to do with life, it's relevant because we don't seem to do it anymore. But it'll pass, hopefully, and we'll all come out the other side. So this first one is about the NHS. When he received his diagnosis, found out the prognosis wasn't really what he wanted to hear. Inoperable, they said, though treatable instead, but that would probably take up half a year. Turns out that they were joking when they told him to stop smoking and dramatically cut back on alcohol. Radio intrusion will follow chemical infusion. The next few months were unlikely to be fun. Weekly hospital attending with the aim that it would mend him. The benefits he hoped would soon be seen. With the chemo all connected, a time to think and get reflective on their own, just how lucky you've been. They spent there just sitting with Penetrex and splatting, a choice of chairs and all are quite comfy. He put on weight, lost no hair, are they sure that it's cancer? It must be cause his car parking was free. Oh yes, the car parking is free when you get the big C. And even though it's not what he would choose, he still felt truly blessed cause he had the NHS completely free at the point of use. A course of chemicals completed, hope not yet defeated. He was ready to face another test. With this machine spinning round while it made a buzzing sound, aiming x-rays at his knackered chest. He lay there quite contented that this machine had been invented, and thanked his lucky stars shining afar. For the treatment he was in need of, most people could only dream of, and he still had free parking for his car. Because the car parking is free when you get the big C, a small silver lining in a cloud so grey. If you have wealth, status or class, all be right down on your ass. The NHS treats us all the same. So ignore the rhetoric, not all staff are angelic, but on the whole they do the best for you. Just think what will be lost when everything is based on cost. Caring is judged on revenue. So let true thanks be given to that visionary Bevan, the man who got that ball starting to roll. Cause in times of great distress we all need the NHS. When it's gone, we'll have bugger all. Oh yes, the car parking is free when you get the big C. There are hospitals throughout the land, and despite what Tories say, it's not there to make money. It's for everyone who needs a helping hand. Oh yes, the car parking is free when you get the big C. And even though it's not what he would choose, he still felt truly blessed, cause he had the NHS completely free at the point of view. Thanks.
Anthony Cowman there, fantastic. And hopefully we got him correctly synced up this time. And also, as well as Anthony there, you also got a little sneak peek of our next performer, Joe Rowe, who kind of said hello and then disappeared to be replaced by Anthony. But Joe Rowe can say hello again now, because she'll be up next, or she is up next, with her performance. And Joe, interestingly, has recently been performing with, now I've got to check to get this right, someone called David Devant and his Spirit Wife. And if you've never seen David Devant and his Spirit Wife, you should go and look, if only to see Joe in her fantastic outfit and wig. Believe me, it's worth doing. But don't go there yet. Stay with us for a while. First of all, to listen to the woman herself. Here she is, Joe Rowe.
Hello. So my name's Jo. I played Roots about a year ago. So it's my anniversary tour. I'm just going to play a song that I played last time because it's a good sing-along song, and because obviously I haven't had any time in the last 6 weeks to learn anything new. Anyway, I just want to say I hope you're all keeping well in lockdown, and always remember, after the darkness comes light, and I can't wait to see you all on the other side. And with that, I will dedicate this to you all.
Younger than the mountain, What can I tell you about Chris Davies? Chris is the joint compere of Acoustic Roots. It's a duty he shares with Paul Chamberlain, our founder. He's an actor and a director of plays, and I think all his friends recognise that he's dedicated. What can I tell you about Chris Davies? Chris is the joint compere of Acoustic Roots. It's a duty he shares with Paul Chamberlain, our founder. He's an actor and a director of plays, and I think all his friends recognise that he's dedicated and committed above all else to drinking beer. And it was in the pub, I think, that the whole concept of Chris Davies Storyteller was first born. I certainly remember sitting enthralled by his tales of level crossings and trips to London. And now Chris Davies Storyteller is a thing. He performs with Storytelling Cafe in and around Birmingham, and he performs with Acoustic Roots on a regular basis, and he's going to perform for you tonight. Chris Davies.
So this story is from Africa, and you may have heard me say earlier that it's an old African folk tale, but it's one that I think has a lot of relevance and resonance, really, for the current times that we're living through. And it's set in an African village in the sort of centre of the country, quite close to the equator, where the days are long and hot. And it's quite a stereotypical African village, really. If you were to visit there, you'd see the hard-packed red earth. You'd see the round timber-framed houses with straw roofs. You'd see the crops growing in the fields. You'd see the paddock with a few animals munching away at the thin grass. You'd see the forest surrounding the clearing where the village is. You see the river sort of babbling away just to one side. But if you were to visit there, one thing that you wouldn't see is any children. All day, you wouldn't see a single child in this village. And the reason for that is that all of the children were made of wax. And if they were to go out in the sun, they'd melt. It's far too hot. So it wasn't safe for them to be anywhere in the open during daylight hours while the sun was up in the sky. But their parents came up with a solution of sorts. They built a large barn on the edge of the village, and they shepherded the children in there, and they said, it's really important that you stay in here whenever the sun is in the sky. Never, ever come out of this barn whilst the sun is in the sky. It's far too dangerous. You must stay in here. And that's what they did. They listened to their parents. They realised, they knew it was for their own safety. And so the children of wax spent the day, every day, trapped inside a hot, claustrophobic barn. Until, that is, the sun set on the horizon and the moon rose into the sky and the temperature dropped. And then the children could lift the latch on the barn door and go out into the world. But into the nighttime world, into a monochrome world of greys and silvers and blacks. They kind of didn't get to appreciate what the world was really like. They only ever saw it at night. But they made the best of it. They were children. They played in amongst the grey and black leaves and trees of the forest. They splashed around in the silvery waters of the river. They ran around on the hard-packed black earth. And every morning, just as the moon set and the sun began to rise, they'd go back into the barn and close the door and hide themselves away for their own safety. This continued for many years, and the children put up with these restrictions until one day there was one boy. His name was Ulwazi, And Owazi was getting to be a teenager, getting to those sort of years where children really push the boundaries, where they want to know things, that they want to expand their knowledge. He just wanted to see the world. He didn't want to be trapped. No, Owazi wanted out. He wanted to go out in the day, see what the sunlit world was like. Well, his friends, the other children, they tried to persuade him. They said, "No, you can't. It's far too dangerous. You're made of wax. If you go out in the hot sun, you will surely melt." "No, it'll be fine," he said. "I won't go far from the barn. As soon as I feel any heat on my back, I'll come straight back in. But I've got to see the world. I've got to see what it's really like. I'm fed up of nighttime, of only ever seeing things by moonlight." And so, despite all of his friends' protestations, one day, whilst the sun was in the sky and all the adults were out tending the crops or hunting in the forests or washing clothes down by the river, Owazi lifted the latch on the barn door and opened it and walked out into the daylight world. It was amazing. He was enchanted. He could see colours. He could see the brightness of the world. He could see the blue-green of the river. He could see all the different green colours of the trees in the forest. He could see the bright red of the hard-packed earth. He could see the yellow-orange orb of the sun in the sky. And he could feel the warm breath of the wind on his skin. And he could smell the flowers that were open during the day but closed themselves up, took their smell away at night. It was almost an overload of experience. And Owazi was entranced. So entranced that he didn't realise how far he was moving away from the barn as he looked around himself. And by the time he realised he was in danger, it was too late. He felt the hot sun burning on his back, beginning to melt the wax that made him. But as he turned to try to run back to the barn, it was too late. As he ran, his legs just melted underneath him, pitching him onto his knees and then onto his hands. And as they melted onto his legs, onto his elbows, onto his torso, so that he couldn't move at all. He couldn't even scrabble his way back to the barn. He just lay under the hot sun until all that was left of Owazi was a pile of molten wax. But his friends, the other children, they hadn't forgotten about him. Of course they hadn't. So when the sun went down and the moon rose into the sky, they lifted the latch on the barn door and went out into the night. And they went to the puddle of wax that used to be Owazi. And they scooped it all together into their hands. And they began together to mould it not into a human form, but into the form of a bird, a great African eagle. They moulded its wings and its feathers in tiny detail. They moulded its head with its huge beak. They moulded its beady eyes and its legs and its great talons. By the time they'd finished, they had made a perfect representation of an eagle in wax. And as the moon began to set, they took the eagle and they placed it on a stump just outside the barn. And then they retreated back inside, closed the door behind them, and they listened. Time went past, and before long the sun began to rise above the horizon, and its orange gold fingers licked out across the landscape and touched the sculpted bird that the children had made, the bird that used to be Owazi. And as the sun touched the wax, didn't melt it. It transformed it. Bit by bit, second by second, minute by minute. The bird that had been Alwazi was transformed by the power of the sun into a real bird, a real eagle with great, majestic plumage, with powerful body and wings, with a great head and a hooked beak and beady eyes and massive, powerful talons. And the eagle stretched itself in the sun, and as the children listened at the door, the eagle took off and took flight, and they heard its wings flapping as the eagle flew off into the sky to freedom. Thank you. The end. And now I'm going to throw over to somebody else to do the next introduction, which is Fiona Holmes, a member of the Stompies. They're coming up right after this, by the way. And Fiona is going to introduce our next performer. So over to you, Fiona.
Hi everybody, it's me, Fiona, from the Stompies, and I've been tasked today to introduce a very good friend of mine called Steve Harris, who's known me since we were at college together, and our life paths have kind of gone in parallel with the occasional meeting in the middle. I think about 10 years ago, Steve Harris sent me these words. It's not only music I hear within. There is plenty of dissonance and discord too. The things that really make me sing inside already have their own music and story. Birdsong, running water, the smell of the ocean, friendship. And Steve's love of words and the way words help you to see things, I think, show in the songs that he writes. The next song that I'm going to introduce is by Steve Harris, and it's called Tenpenny Girl, and I think it's beautiful. I hope you enjoy it.
Hello, Acoustic Roots. My name is Steve Harris. I live in Somerset. I'm not a former member of Iron Maiden, even though my name is Steve Harris. I used to be a professional musician, and then I ran away to become an academic, and now I don't do anything because we're not allowed to do anything because we all have to stay indoors, which actually means I play my guitar more. So I've remembered a song I wrote from about 9 years ago. It's called Tenpenny Girl, and it goes like this. She's a tenpenny girl in a second-hand dress. She wants to take you home. She wants you to pretend she's the girl of your dreams. If just for one night she'll be your fantasy, just tell her everything you like. She's a wink and a smile. She's something understood. And if you take the time, she knows you'll feel so good in her tenpenny arms, in her second-hand bed. Or you could blank her charms, go back to your wife instead.
Thank you, Steve. Brilliant. And thank you, Fee, for the introduction. Talking of Fiona, now our next performers will be the Stompies, our house band, who have a brilliant rendition of one of their songs for you. Please keep liking and sharing our show and commenting. We are looking at your comments. Thank you for all your kind comments so far. And again, feel free if you wish to donate. And hopefully, as a result of all that, we can be back another time to do another virtual Roots for you. After the Stompies, we're going to make an attempt at playing the Fragile Hearts for you. We're not quite sure whether it's going to work, so you might come straight back to me, but we're going to give it a go. If it doesn't work, we will carry the Fragile Hearts, with apologies to them, over to our next virtual show. But first, here are your friends and mine, our Acoustic Roots house band, the Stompies.
Hello, who are you? I thought that I knew you. How did I mistake all the signs? Those late nights we shared and the minutes we dared to be something that's ours, not just mine. Clothes that you used to wear, left when you used to care. Trust me, you carved on my door. Now all that's left, an old bottle of red, just rolling around on the floor. Do I blame me, or am I set free from the stalkers who haunted my prime? Then suddenly it's all snatched from me, the scene of the too perfect crime. Water, not wine. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not wine. On the floor of the crime. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not wine. I feel like a crash victim thrown through a car windscreen, waiting for help to arrive. A shadow you can't see, no chalk mark around me, no breath to say I am alive. Do I blame me, or am I set free from the stalkers who haunted my prime? Then suddenly it's all snatched from me, the scene of the too perfect crime. Water, not wine. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not wine. On the floor of the crime. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not Water, not wine. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not wine. On the floor of the crime. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not wine. Do I blame me, or am I set free from the stalkers who haunted my prime? Then suddenly it's all snatched from me, the scene of the too perfect crime. Water, not wine. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not wine. On the floor of the crime. Water, not wine. Drinking water, not wine. Water, not wine. Water, not wine. I feel like a crash victim, drinking water, not wine. Waiting for
See, I told you that was good, didn't I? The Stompies with A Water Not Wine, also known as the scene of The Perfect Crime, which I think is going to be the first single from their forthcoming new album, which may or may not have the same name. Let's wait and see, but that's coming along soon. And that, like every contribution you've seen tonight, was specially recorded for this performance. So thank you to everybody who's sent their performances to us. And we have some more performances, as I've said, that hopefully we can use for another Virtual Acoustic Roots. And if there's anyone out there who wants to send us their offerings, then please do get in touch. Now, we're now going to try, it's time to cross your fingers and send good positive vibes our way, as we're going to try to play the Fragile Hearts that we couldn't bring you earlier on. Now, this may work, in which case, great. You may get a blank screen. You may get a picture of Dave tapping a keyboard. You may get me looking puzzled and confused, which, frankly, obviously is no great change. But we're going to give it a go. So hopefully this will work. And let's wait and see. So here we go. Fingers crossed for Fragile Hearts.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve.
And I'm Helena.
Hello, Helena.
Hello, Steve.
We are.
No, I don't think it's worked. I'm getting the pointing finger of doom. So I don't think we're going to be able to bring you the Fragile Hearts tonight. So I'm really sorry about that. I blame the Queen for interrupting us with her speech. I think that's what's throwing the spanner in the works. So apologies to the Fragile Hearts. Really sorry about that. But we will include them next time, as well as lots of other great performances from many of the people that you've seen tonight, and potentially others. So all that remains for me to do is really to say thank you to all the performers, and to Dave Howard, who has done an absolutely amazing job in getting all of this ready and running everything tonight. Really a brilliant feat that he has performed tonight. So thank you and well done to Dave. Also to Martin Salter, who has been our kind of assistant and sort of streaming monitor. So thanks to Martin as well. And thank you to all of you out there for joining us, for listening, for all of your comments. It's really great to have you joining us tonight for our Virtual Acoustic Roots. So I'll just say thank you to all of you, and look forward to seeing you again, either in the virtual realm or maybe, who knows, in the flesh. But in the meantime, stay safe, keep music alive, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Good night.